Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. Behind me you will see the Standoff sign up area, and I have fantastic news. Hermits have signed up and we're going to get this tournament kicked off. So if we have a look in the sign up book here, you'll see that we have the names of 8 other hermits who have signed up to play. This is fantastic, and like I said before, I'm not going to be playing in the tournament because I created it. And this will be a bracket tournament, meaning that 2 hermits will face off and the winner will then play another hermit who beats someone else. It'll be a process of elimination until we have 1 hermit left. And so in here, I have the names of all of our participants and we're going to pair them up one by one. So here we go. First of all, Xisuma is going to face off against Cubfan. Then it shall be Efo playing against Full Symmetry. Then we have Corrales facing off against Joe Hills. And our last 2 contendants are Impulse and Jevin. So there it is, my friends. That is the opening brackets of this tournament. And of course, whoever wins one bracket will move on to the next one, all the way until we just have a single hermit left. And that hermit is the winner, of course. What we need to do next is visit each of our participants to let them know who they're playing against and what the rules of the game are going to be. And that means we're going to have to visit some bases and drop off some instructions. And hey, let's take advantage of this because there is another reason that I actually want to visit all of the hermits. And that is because of the block exchange. This shop, this marketplace has not been as successful as I would have hoped. And so, I am thinking gift boxes, okay? I have accumulated a lot of these mini blocks, and we could, give them away to some of the hermits and remind them of how cool and useful they are. That will hopefully draw some of the hermits over here to the marketplace. However, we've caught the attention of one hermit. Mr. Efo is selling the apparently ultra rare Jeb sheephead for 1 diamond block each. That's pretty cool. And he actually brought some of my bounties, although I think he misunderstood. I was paying 2 diamonds for just 1 mini block, but he's given me 2 of each, which was very generous. So the stone block was one of these that I was after. Really happy to get rid of these item frames. They are nowhere near as cool as that, right? And also terracotta. We can cross this one off the list as well. But as for the birch and the oak log, I'd actually accumulated these already. I have encountered so many wandering traders recently working on the mega project. Also, Corrales gives me a heads up every time there's one nearby. Look, I've accumulated so much stuff here, it's crazy. That includes another one I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while. We now have gravel completing this line over here. Have both the warp stem and the crimson stem as well now. And we've even got the target block to add to our redstone wall collection. And another rare one, I have the sponge. Yes. I think it's time to update our sheet where I keep track of all the ones that I've got and see where we're at. And here it is, my friends. I'll save you the hassle of counting. We're just in need of 16 of these mini blocks. Remember, there's 148 and we've got 16 left to get. So what do we need to do now? We need to up the price of the bounties. So I have gone and actually tripled these. They're now 6 diamonds each, and I'm going to put in a note because we don't want to confuse any other hermits. Just 1 mini block and you can take 6 of these diamonds. One of those blocks is gilded blackstone, which you can get from the Bastion remnants. We haven't been there this season, and that's because I'm kind of waiting for the piglin brute so we can go there and have a proper challenge on our hands. But anyway, Cubfan has updated his Gold Rush store, and over here where you can go prospecting, you're now able to get gilded blackstone just by hitting this button and seeing what luck brings you. Look, some gold ore. Well, you might notice I've already been prospecting down here. I actually got my hands on some of the gilded blackstone after a couple of, button presses. So there we go. We now have this block. I'm only going to take the one because we only need to trade with the trader one time. Okay, so we need to get the instructions out to each of the hermits that are playing in the standoff game. So I'm going to drop off a chest at their base with a mini chest put on top of it to grab their attention. And here you'll see we've got some instructions, and then it says your opponent is Jevin. So whoever's fighting Jevin gets this box right here. And what I'm going to do is actually fill it up with some random mini blocks, so it kind of advertises the block exchange as well, right? So I'll be fishing some of these out at random, chucking them into there, and check it out. Here's what the book says. So thank you for signing up, and then it just tells them they can arrange their match with the Hermit in their own time. The game's going to be 6x6 and they get to decide who will go first when they play. When I've been flying around the various parts of my base, I keep thinking that I hear the sound of endermites, and I'm not going mad. There's one down here. Tactical tickle. Who on earth could have done such a thing, eh? Well, I happen to know it was Efo. I watched his video and I was like, oh, I'm not going mad. I've been hearing these things. I'm like, I haven't thrown an ender pearl. Where did that come from? Look, you see, there's another one over here. And you know what? It probably doesn't matter how many of them I killed today. I'm just going to keep finding these now, aren't I? Just every now and then going to be somewhere in my base and, oh, what's that? An endermite? Yep, like literally right here. And over here as well. What about this tower? Is there one over at the smelter? Yep. Well, what would you know? There's one in every tower. Well, with Efo being right next door, I guess we'll be heading over there first of all. And this base, you know what? It's a work of art. One of the things I like most, though, is the floor. These are not bee nests, bee hives, right? And they got a really cool texture. And I'm not sure where I should leave this. Actually, I think I'm going to put it right in the middle of this spot. And so, by the luck of the draw, Efo got some pretty cool blocks, but most importantly, the TNT one. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that. And since he's currently online right now, he was AFK, we're going to head over to the Cave of Contraptions. I was kind of hoping I could sneak up to ZAF and just leave it next to him so he could turn around and there it is, but he might not even be in his wonderful base right now. And he's in the Nether, so never mind, I guess. Right, I think he's definitely going to notice that, you know, an additional chest and then an additional miniature one. And these are the blocks that ZAF got by the luck of the draw. And you know what, I'm not going to focus on showing you what mini blocks each of the hermits got. I kind of want to focus on their bases. Behind us is full symmetry. This is just a beautiful concept, right? She's dug out this area going all the way down to bedrock, which you can see down there. And then filled it up with this incredible tower design. And then there's like this hexagonal grid with additional towers around it. It's just absolutely fantastic. Next up, we have a classic shape base out here in the ocean. Jevin has been building this mega circular structure built out of prismarine and endstone. I think the block palette is really interesting. And this is actually like a rebuild. He started with something similar, tore it all down and started again. So Jevin has really been grinding out this massive build. Now it looks like neighbors will be battling it out, as from here you can fly in this direction and get to Impulse's base, who's also doing a mega structure out here in the ocean. This one really reminds me of his Season 5 base as well. Oh, and this is interesting, by the way. Impulse has his farms board where he's going to try and build every farm in Minecraft. And as you can see, the item frames are invisible. That was originally done with a resource pack, but now it's done through the vanilla game itself. I think I already showed you this in a video, but it's done through the Armor Stand data pack, which you can get from Vanilla Tweaks. This is a bit of a treat how things come into view. Joe has this tower in his base, and as you get closer to it, then the goat mother appears over on the other side of the ocean. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, we're dropping it off at Joe's base next, which is really cool. There is some sort of rib cage going on through here, and then he's built up a little village. And I don't know where his main storage area is. Also, what is going on this beach? Do all of these dogs have their own sunbeds? So I found Joe's nether portal, and I think I'm just going to leave a chest right here in front of it. Well, you should know whose base this is. I've logged in, and it sounds like the What Is Love song is broken right now. It is playing out of sync. So we see Corralis's base all the time, so what I wanted to show you was what he had built underground recently, and it's absolutely gorgeous down here. He's got villager farms set up, but it's like they're outdoors because of the wall. Kind of like what we did in the Nether, right? It's absolutely beautiful. This is so gorgeous down here. And it's also where I've gone and left him his mini blocks. And last but not least, one of the bases I've been absolutely obsessed with this season. I've been watching every episode of Cub Fans because this is just simply bonkers. And we were actually here an episode or two ago, weren't we? We left him some Zoglin heads, and they're still here. I actually need to unlock them because I could believe that he currently can't edit any of these, and, you know, I didn't intend for them to permanently reside here. Okay, and this is the last of them. So I've unlocked them. Cub fans should be able to edit those now. So now I can bring you up to speed on the mega build, because as you can see, it is slowly expanding, and currently it's kind of got a bit of a stadium vibe, right? It's almost as if these are where people would sit, and then you've got the little entrances down below to get into the arena, but that is not exactly what this thing is going to look like when it's finished. And now to give you a clearer image of what it will look like, I am going to grind out placing down a whole bunch of these blocks. Well, now I think you'll be able to see where this is going, as it's going to be the same the whole way around, and you might notice parts of this are quite similar to something else. I took a lot of inspiration from this tower right here. I wanted to take that shape at the front and repeat it over and over again, and if we go around to this side that we don't see very often, you might notice a similar pattern. And as it currently stands, we haven't actually filled any of this in. I've got a plan for the gaps through the middle there. That's going to be honey blocks and glowstone, so it's all illuminated. And then right here, I was thinking about going with diamond blocks, but that would basically bankrupt me. That has, however, reminded me I'm very low on emerald blocks, and I've literally spent all of them trading with the wandering traders. So we need to stock up. Let's see if Impulse has any. Oh yeah, you have to buy them, right, 2 for a stack. I thought he was selling stacks of blocks. Well, I've gotten myself a stack of blocks out of this because there's 9 stacks of emeralds. That, though, is not enough to fill up all of those gaps around the building, so I think I'm going to have to look for a different material. So when I first envisioned this project quite some time ago, I had a name in mind, and that was the Visitor Center. Because, you know, other hermits could come over here and build some stuff inside of it, but, you know, what hermit's thinking, hey, I really need to go and build in someone else's base. Anyway, it has the vibe of like a big expo center where stuff happens, right? And that's what I've been looking for, and I love it so far. Still got a ways to go. But anyway, over here, gold blocks on this side, honeycomb blocks over on this bit, and the problem is, I just can't decide. So if you've got a preference out of those two, let me know with a comment down below. And also, this right here in the middle is a landing bay, which should be obvious because we're using the black and white wall again. So, going to go on a little bit of a tangent for a moment, and that's why we're in the Nether dimension. Now, we have had issues with our doors over here, and I was reading the comments on my last episode, and I got some really cool feedback on how to fix this issue. So this right here is a closed door, and the zombie piglins will attack that. However, they won't attack an open door, which that is right there. So, if we go and place this like so, and then click on it, that is technically open, and apparently zombie pigmen won't go and attack the door. But, as you can see, it's not quite going to work with some pressure plates here, so we have to remember to do our due diligence and close doors behind us. So if we remember to do this simple thing as we go in and out of this area, then hopefully these things will stay here. So I'll have to check back on this soon, but hopefully we'll be able to keep them. And getting back to the mega build, I come over here and I just think, man, I put in a fair few hours today, and actually I feel like letting this thing just sit here. We'll build it up some more in the future. For the rest of this episode though, I have an interesting project in mind. So my friends, we've got a big old empty tower, and what I do with these towers is I put farms inside of them. And thinking for all the different types of farms in the game, I thought of a boring one that we could actually make kind of interesting. So you've probably seen a gazillion different cocoa bean farm designs. If you've been watching Minecraft for some time, we don't necessarily need a lot of this, but it's nice to have all the farms covered. And I thought of a way to make this rather interesting. It actually involves minecarts and the player moving up and down through a vertical column. Now, this minecart is going to rest on a glass pane. However, I started to think about lighting. Perhaps actually we should get them resting on end rods so that there'll be light in the area. So anyway, we're going to put in some trapdoors that's going to basically catch the minecart and keep it locked into a position. And this right here, we're able to click on from underneath. So if we have another one up above it, it means we can move up and down through these minecarts. So I've cloned this upwards a bunch of times, and in survival mode we can now hop up to the minecarts. And so when we're in one of these, we're also able to look around us in all directions. So the question then becomes, how far around us can we reach when we're inside of a minecart? These are an extra block further away than these ones over here, which are 3 blocks away. So if I aim like this, you can see we can put them in a lot of spots. We can aim up a fair bit as well. If we go in this direction, oh, we can't actually reach those blocks at all. That is fascinating. Now, there is something else to consider here, which is that we've got to go up and then start placing them at the next level. So we pop up like this. Hey, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So we do what? 4 of those, pop up to the next level, and you can just see the edge. You can't, well, it's there, trust me. Okay, I've placed a row, so if we press F5, yeah, there you go, you can see it's right above the last lot. Excellent. Whoa! Whoa, I'm right in your face. Okay, here's an interesting challenge. I can't actually go downwards. If I press Shift, I don't fall down. This thing is not resting on an edge that I don't collide with. So I think we'll have to make our floor out of something the player can just drop down on. That's not going to be a problem. What is going to be a problem is harvesting all of the cocoa beans. We are not going to do this. We're not going to have a bunch of pistons back here moving all of the blocks. To harvest all of our cocoa beans, we are going to use water, which can be a little bit of a pain. It does a great job at getting rid of the cocoa beans, but then the water takes a long time to disperse. So, we need to create a system where the water can disperse quickly. I know that's not technically essential, but that's what I think is going to make this farm even more interesting if we can control the water here in an efficient way. So check this out, we've got 7 ticks on one side, 1 tick on the other, so this dispenser will be powered twice, and you can see that it creates a blade going down to the bottom. And with some added glass we can get rid of some of that watery mess around the front there, and this is what we want to travel downwards and get all the cocoa beans. But quickly, let's put that on 2 instead of 3 ticks, and you'll see that the thing disappears in its entirety. So that is the kind of pulse length that we need in order to create a blade of water going down. And the reason I say blade is because there used to be a way to do this where you'd have the smallest type of water shuffling down on its own, but I just haven't figured out how to recreate that. So now the question is, what happens when these are side by side? As you'll see, the water kind of groups together and then it takes a lot longer to disperse. So if we raise one of them up, we still get the same issue again, right? And that's not good. And now we got a full block between them. Let's see what happens this time around. Again, they find a way to connect together. This is going to be very finicky to figure out. Okay, this looks silly, but it works. And remember, this thing is 5 blocks wide, which we need on all sides. So as you'll see, none of the water connects together. That's brilliant. But obviously, we want something neat and compact, and this just looks messy, doesn't it? Now, when these are all side by side, they're very easily going to create water sources between them. If we even add some delay between each of them, you have to add a lot of delay. It's very difficult with the tick length being what it is. So I do have another idea here that could possibly work. I don't do redstone that often anymore, and do you know what I forget about? The observer block. It has been a lifesaver here, okay? The comparator turning on and off, this will create 2 pulses out of that, and it's the perfect length for this thing to create a water blade. And as you can see, what we've got going on back here is an item being rotated through all of these hoppers. So, next question is, can this work side by side? Oh my goodness me, look at that. The only problem is, this thing might need some sort of compacting going on. Okay, quick experiment. What if we let this thing just run at normal speed? Huh, that's interesting. Okay, good to know. The reason I wonder is because we're actually going to have a circle of these contraptions, and we could actually have one chain of hoppers going round in a circle, and in order to get the whole thing going, you just let the item flow through it. But it looks like this clock right here is essential. Anyway, we've got an important test to do here. I'm going to chuck in a bucket. Oh, it doesn't work the same way when they're like that. But not all is bad. There you go. Now it's doing just what we want it to. My friends, the observer block is a thing of beauty. Look how compact and elegant this circuit is right here. Let's chuck in an item and watch it go. It's doing exactly what we want it to. Now, us the player will have to travel up through the minecarts to the very top and press a button above our head. So now I need to come up with a solution to keep this thing blinking enough to let the item go around to the corner. The alternative is to always have it blinking, and then when we press the button we simply release it from one hopper on the corner. That I actually think is probably going to be the easier solution. Redstone, my friends, can be very satisfying when you find solutions. I love how this has turned out, okay? So we are locking this thing in an on state by having a redstone block there. Well, we're going to store an item in this hopper, and when we press the button below the piston, it's going to activate the circuit. Let's actually go ahead and do that. This won't pop off because of changes to redstone. So now it's doing its thing. However, we're going to detect when it gets right to the very end here, and this observer's going to send 2 pulses up. We only need 1 pulse, but it's just a nice and compact way to do things. And so that pushes that down and locks it. And where does the item end up? Oh, it's actually in there. So probably means we need a little bit of a delay somewhere. And that's it, my friends. A 2-tick delay there means the item is trapped here. Absolutely perfect. Honestly, that feels amazing. I need to do redstone more often. So the place this shall go is inside of this tower here. It's got tons of vertical space, so we can really build this thing up nice and tall. But currently it's very, very dark in here. There appears to be, yeah, a skeleton. And so we got some villagers in the way. Yeah, Kara and Liz are going to have to move somewhere else, unfortunately. They're right in the middle. I don't think we can keep them here. So we'll have to move them out. And then the farm itself, we're going to actually have trapdoors like that. And then it's 1, 2, 3. And then the jungle woods would be right in that space there. So there's actually going to be plenty of space behind it. I kind of got an idea to sneak in another farm behind there. But anyway, there's also plenty of vertical space. We'll be able to put in all the redstone at the top. It's going to fit into this tower with ease. But I shan't be doing that today. We've done a load of stuff in this episode, and so I'm going to try and get that done just between episodes. That should be possible. So at the beginning of the next one, I'll show you in action. And of course, there's a few more things we've got to figure out with its design, but that stuff's relatively simple. So that's it, the end of the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like if you want to support the channel. It makes a difference. So thank you as always for doing that. And I'll be seeing you soon with another episode of Hermitcraft. Bye bye.